The Thief Who Stole Heaven, a Legend, by Raymond Arroyo. Dismas was a thief, a member of a wandering band of robbers who prowled the Judean desert looking for easy prey. Abandoned by his parents, the boy fell into the hands of a gang that raised him in their ways. He didn't want to steal or hurt anyone, but to eat and to avoid a beating by Justas, his leader, the boy did as he was told. And it came to pass that Dismas was ordered to rob a widow by pushing her into the street and taking her money. Once the deed was done, the widow's kitten followed the boy into the alley where he counted the stolen coins. Feeling guilty, he tenderly cared for the kitten as if it were his own. When Justas discovered Dismas feeding the tiny cat, he became furious. "You soft idiot," he fumed. "That thing produces nothing. Mercy is a great weakness, boy." Justas grabbed the cat by the throat, and Dismas never saw it again. Time hardened Dismas. Not only did he become the most feared bandit in Judea, but he was so cruel and quick with the blade that the thieves began calling him the Prince of Death. Now one night, while Cestus and the others slept, Dismas spied a rich merchant on a camel bouncing down the highway. He silently slipped from the thieves' cave, carrying only his knife. Within minutes the merchant was no more. Dismas took charge of the camel and 6 small sacks of gold, which he greedily stuffed into his pockets. The braying camel woke Justas. "Where'd you get that creature?" asked the old thief, standing in the dark mouth of the cave. "It came wandering by," Dismas lied. "We can sell it for a hefty price." And behold, over a nearby hill there came a man with a lamp, leading a donkey. Atop it sat a woman, tightly bundling her baby against the cool night air. "We are highly favored, Justas." Dismas smiled his crooked smile, touching his blade once more. "The night brings us yet another prize." Dismas leaped onto the highway, blocking the traveler's path. "Welcome to my kingdom," he crowed. The thief's greeting startled the donkey, but not the woman on its back. The brawny man leading the party raised his staff and glared at the thief. "Save your strength," Dismas snarled, flashing his knife and going straight to the saddlebags. "What have we here?" "Only a child," the man responded. "Do you think I care about you or your child?" Rummaging through the saddlebags, Dismas glanced up at the beautiful woman with her skin like silk. She softly kissed the feet of the infant in her arms and pressed her head against his tiny toes. Then the child, ever so slowly, turned his face toward Dismas, looking him squarely in the eyes. The thief froze with fear and amazement. "Who is this child? Who is he?" begged the woman. Dismas couldn't tear his gaze from the baby's piercing eyes. Mary said nothing. She covered the child's face with her mantle and serenely lowered her head. "When he looked at me," Dismas sputtered. "Those eyes!" "Have mercy on us," Joseph said softly. Just then Justas called from the roadside. "Have they anything worth taking? Do you need my help?" "Have I ever needed your help?" Dismas answered. Then to Mary he whispered, "Let me see your child again, and I'll do you no harm." Mary looked to Joseph, who nodded his approval. Gently she lifted her blue veil, and behold, the child was already staring at Dismas alone, and he was smiling. The thief felt such shame for what he had done, even moments ago, and amazement at the light and purity he saw in the child's face. Awestruck, Dismas stretched out his hand to touch the baby. The child gripped the thief's finger with the strength of a man. Hairs bristled on Dismas' arms and at the back of his neck. He tried to pull away but could not. In panic and wonder he murmured to the child, "If ever a time should come when I need your mercy, remember me." The babe released Dismas' finger, and Mary swaddled him once more. "Let it be done to you according to your word," she whispered. "Well, what do they have?" Justas shouted. "Treasure of great worth," yelled Dismas, as he fished the merchant's coin bags from his pockets. He tossed one to Justas. "I've taken the best these travelers have." "That's our prince," laughed Justas. "No mercy at all." "Go now," Dismas ordered Joseph under his breath. "Be on your way." Then to Mary, "Do not forget what has passed this day." She smiled at him, gently lowering her head, and the family continued down the road to Egypt. For years after, Dismas often thought of the child he had spared on the road to Egypt. No one had ever looked at him in such a way. But over time, the lures of the world, gold, power, and the violence used to secure them, blotted out all memory of the child and the bright moment they shared in the cold winter night. And it came to pass that Dismas descended deeper into his wicked ways. He mercilessly robbed and hurt many people until one day, 33 days later, Dismas and Justus were arrested by the Romans. Soldiers dragged the two thieves before Pontius Pilate, the Roman governor of Judea. He sentenced them along with another prisoner, a preacher from Nazareth. By the time Dismas saw the preacher, the Roman guards had beaten him horribly. Dismas could not believe how still, even peaceful, the preacher remained throughout his sufferings. The two thieves and the preacher were forced to carry heavy crosses up the hill where they would face their final punishment. Women on the roadside wept as the wounded preacher passed silently by. "Jesus," the woman cried, "Rabbi, Master." But others screamed, "Blasphemer! If you are the Messiah, save yourself. And where are your angels to save you now?" "Who is this Jesus?" Dismas wondered, dragging his cross behind the man. "Who is he?" On a dusty hilltop, soldiers fixed the three men to their crosses. Dismas had never known such pain. The blinding sun made it impossible for him to even open his eyes. Then, as the light shifted, the shadow of Jesus fell upon Dismas, and for the first time on the cross, the thief could see. A woman in a dark blue veil approached the preacher's cross and kissed his feet. She rested her forehead against them, speaking in a hush. Dismas knew this woman, this mother. He raised his glance to the face of the preacher. Jesus was already staring at Dismas alone. Those eyes. "You are the child grown. You remember me, brother." The crowd pressed in, jeering at Jesus. "He saved others. Let him save himself. Come down from the cross, and we will believe that you are the Messiah." The Roman soldiers mocked Jesus with false bows, threw trash at him, and shouted, "All hail the King of the Jews! Save yourself!" Jesus looked heavenward, and Dismas heard him. "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." Justus, on the other side of Jesus, took up the chants of the crowd, yelling, "Are you the Messiah? Save yourself and us!" Shocked at Justus, Dismas shouted back at him, "Do you not fear God? We have been rightly punished for the things we have done. We are getting what we deserve, but this man has done nothing." "You are a soft fool," Justus shouted, "an idiot." Then, gazing in the innocent man next to him, beyond the bruises, Dismas suddenly saw the child again, and all the pain vanished. Warmth filled his being. The wicked things he had done over so many years fell away, and Dismas saw only those eyes. "Jesus," he sobbed, "remember me when you come into your kingdom." Mary smiled up at him, just as she had so long ago. Jesus turned to Dismas and said, "Truly I tell you, this day you will be with me in paradise." Okay. Dismas was a thief to the end, never forgetting his trade. Before kings and prophets, apostles and saints, Dismas was the first to break through the gates of paradise. For hanging on a cross with nothing but his words and faith, he stole heaven from God himself.